Hey, it's just me, back again. If you're like one of the whole six people who actually watch a lot of these that I do, I just thank you so much for supporting me. And I hope that you're getting what you need from me. So, anyways, I did that other pick a pile the other day, right? So I don't know what's made me like. You know what? I found like this one reader from Sweden. And I've listened to a couple of hers, and she almost always does pick a piles, right? I didn't used to do them, but I'm just trying them out, because I like experimenting and trying new things. So today we have the buffalo, the antelope, and actually this last stack, originally it started with the frog, but the hawk wanted to come out with it. So I think that's an interesting animal pair to have together. But so I will link down below um, some timestamps if you want to come back for either of those. And then also, like, I don't know if anybody's interested, but the bottom of the decks after dealing them out, we had the zebra with open-mindedness, and it says there is more than one way of looking at things, and you must be ready to accept alternative viewpoints and new ideas. You must open your eyes to new ideas and new ways of resolving problems. So, I don't know. Maybe that's for me too. That could be for me because I'm really stubborn. So sometimes I'm not very open to new ways. So we also have at the bottom, because I'm also using shapeshifter deck cards. And this one says Artemis of the Forest. You are independent and free. And then also bottom of the deck in the Whispering Woods, we have Renew. And this one said, nature continuously renews itself year after year. So it's really interesting. So, all right. So now we're going to start with the buffalo abundance. And it says, abundance and liberation are finally on the way. It comes to you now to remind you of the amazing manifesting power of gratitude. You will always have plenty when you express gratitude to every part of creation. So, and then each deck, when I was like shuffling them out, I was just shuffling out a couple. So these are like my shapeshifter deck cards, and then they got a couple Whispering Woods. So for the buffalo, we have, what's really interesting about the buffalo cards is that all of these are like dark and at night, right? And it's at night right now for me. So we have the Dragonling Garden. It says a new world is born. We have little wolf girl, and it says it is all right to be alone. Also, she has a full moon, so I don't know if that's whoever resonates with this buffalo. You may be somebody who like follows moon cycles, because we also have Orca magic, and your Akashic libraries are open to you at this time. So, if you don't know what Akashic libraries are, if you're somebody like a starseed, an earth angel, somebody who's had more than one life on this planet, and let's say like in previous lives you had certain spiritual gifts and you didn't wake up to them yet, your Akashic libraries are the part of the universe that kept a record of everything you've ever been through. So if your soul has had other experiences than the one you're living right now, your Akashic library would have all those records. And I'm saying that to you because in order for you to get the card that says Akashic Records, if you have that open to you, then you most likely do have them. If you haven't been through a spiritual awakening yet, then you probably are due to have one coming. But I would say, because if we saw the buffalo and it says, as long as you remember to give gratitude, that all this stuff is going to open up for you, right? So you have a card that says you have all this new stuff coming for you. And then we also have a card that says a new world is born. So I feel like for whoever you are, you may have just gone through a spiritual awakening. You may be spending a lot of time alone right now, which is really normal. You know, like if you go through a spiritual awakening, not everybody, but I don't know if it's fair to say most people, because I feel like I haven't talked to everybody enough to know this, most people. But I feel like it's very common that a lot of people, when they have spiritual awakenings, will go through a dark night of the soul. And so dark nights of the soul are a period of time you go through that often will make you feel very depressed, because it's usually a chain of events that are all just like, they're experiences that can make you almost want to not be alive. You know what I mean? You can go through that. The fact that it says it's all right to be alone, it's like maybe you're alone for the first time in your life, and I totally relate to that. You know what? Like, so right now I'm on my own, right? But like 5 years ago, I split from somebody. I lived with this one person for like 20 years, you know? So, like, I've never wanted that person back in my life, but I will say that the first few year or two of that, to adjusting to doing so much on my own, there was still an adjustment, you know? Like, getting used to sleeping by myself was definitely like the hardest part of all of it, because even before he was in my life, you know, while my son, when he was really little, I shared a room. I let my son like co-sleep with me a lot for his first like year or two. And then, but even before that, like I had a college roommate. I lived with somebody for a few years, and growing up, like we always had people living with us, and I shared a room with my sister on and off through the years. So it was like for majority of my what? So and it was only 5. So I had like 45 years, or well, not even that. I would say probably at least 38 years of my life were spent sharing a room and or bed with somebody else, you know? So so there was that adjustment time when I finally you know, so I had to go through that adjustment period too. So if you're going through a time where you're not used to being by yourself, and you know, because like this card says it's all right to be alone, it's like you may be withdrawing and having a lot of alone time. You may be finding yourself withdrawing, because you know what? Like, the thing about spiritual awakenings, they're very deeply personal, you know? And part of that awakening usually has you facing things that are very difficult to face, you know? There may be grief, especially like if your awakening is tied to the passing away of a pet or a loved one or somebody who meant everything to you, then that grief is like super precious, you know? Because grief is, even though it's sad, it's mingled with love. So like even in the worst of situations, like even if, let's say, like you had a great loss, but it was somebody in your life who you've had a roller coaster relationship with, and sometimes they were toxic to you, and they may have even potentially been abusive at times, and you never got like that acknowledgement from them that that happened. So like when they pass away, then it's like, oh, okay, well now you're never gonna get their acknowledgement of what happened to you. And then it comes down to being able to make peace with it so that you can heal and go on with your life, you know? Um, or, you know, so, and or maybe like you had somebody pass away and you tried to confront them about like, you try to confront them about something and they wouldn't own it. And so that kind of left you feeling in the dark. Because look, at all three of these are in the dark and at nighttime. And so this one is the dark of night with the full moon. This is Well, not so much the dark of night. It looks like the same dark of night, but this is actually at the bottom of the ocean. This is being in the abyss. This is potentially even being in the void. So I would also say this as well. If you are still going through this process and you're not, like, even though you feel like you're finally emerging, but you're not quite out of it, I would say that I feel like, you know what, especially for people who have borderline disorder, you know, like a huge side effect of having borderline disorder is you feel like you live your whole life in the void, right? Um, you're just always in this void of like you're trying to find the meaning of things and where you fit in with things, and you're trying to solve a puzzle that has no edges to it. And so it sometimes it feels impossible and you kind of have to just use your intuition. And when you're in that place, even though it's scary and sometimes confusing and it's easy to get lost, it's easy to get addicted to just staying there because sometimes it's really heavy and almost oppressive. But then it's so oppressive that you just want to lay down and sleep in it. And you just stay there, you know? And that's why you'll hear some people say, you know, it's okay to go through this. It's okay to feel like this, but just don't stay there, you know? So, like, you're in that place and this is happening for you. You may have been, because you got, with these three cards together, it tells me that you've been through something. So you may still feel like it happened to you, but it didn't really. Like, I mean, it did, but I feel like at some point, there's going to come a day when you look back on right now and you will understand that what felt like it was happening to you was actually for you. And it's actually opens you up to that you have spiritual gifts within you. And there's actually like a deeper, more powerful you. You may actually feel like you've met yourself for the first time, or for the first in a very long time. And by a long time, I mean not just this life. I'm not sure what that means for you, but in your whispering woods, you got idle hours, and it says take some time out to lie on the emerald grass, which kind of goes with this nice garden card. And then we also have, it says trust. The robin trusts her wings, not the branch she sits on. So, you know what? Maybe if you're in this time of being alone and by yourself, maybe you're learning how to trust yourself. You know, just talking about the robin trusting her wings. And maybe you didn't trust your wings. Maybe you're always like looking for a good branch to sit on. And maybe the thing you need to realize is that it doesn't matter about the branch. You're a bird. You have wings and you can fly. And you just need to not worry, you know? Like, even if you're not great at flying, you can probably fly enough to land on the ground gently without really falling to any great peril. So that's it for the buffalo. And then we'll move on to, next is the antelope. Okay, so now we have the antelope, which says decisive action. You are being told unequivocally that it's time to get moving. Set your intentions and take action towards making your dreams a reality. You have a door in front of you. Trust your instincts here. So the fact that we see like trust your instincts, you're entering into a time where listening to your intuition is going to be super, super important. So we have butterflies in the gloom, which is also card 22. So that's like an angel number. So here, hold on, let me pull that up. That says an angel number 22 is a powerful master builder number. It signifies the ability to manifest dreams into reality through balance, discipline, and spiritual wisdom. So which this card was already trusting your instincts is spiritual wisdom. So, this feels, and also if you want to look at it as an angel number, it's a number representing balance, harmony, and peaceful stance in all areas of your life. So, in this card called Butterflies in the Gloom, it says, after sadness, happiness and hope returns. So it's like, it's kind of sort of like if you've been through a Job story where you went through a really hard time, and this is like that coming out of that. And that's like when you've passed the test, how like my Heavenly Father will like restore to you everything you lost during that time. We also have the Wolf Moon. We got another full moon. So that first group of cards had a full moon card. Now there's another one that says, I will watch over you. So this is giving me like, if you're somebody who identifies with wolf, this is like the second wolf to come up in tonight. So maybe you're somebody who identifies with canine energy a lot, and or you may have this maybe some kind of spiritual protection. You may have a spirit guide. This could be an ancestor. You definitely have something in the spirit where energy is like somebody's watching over you. So you have somebody watching over you, and your woods cards are growth, and it says the tallest oak tree once started as a seedling. Don't be afraid to start something new. Which, oh, dude, that totally supports this going and starting something new. And then risk. You also have risk, and it says learn to grow wherever you are planted. So, it's kind of, the fact that it also says grow wherever you are planted, I feel like, this is all about growth. So you may have went through a really hard time, and I feel like, there may come a time in the near future where you're going to look back at this time and realize that even like 6 months to a year to even 5 years, I bet in 5 years, the you that you were right now, you'll look back and realize you don't even feel like the same person no more. Because like the person I was even like 6 or 7 years ago, I'm not that person anymore, Like I know people think that people don't change, but sometimes you do. Sometimes you do. You know what? Trauma can have a way of changing you. Grief changes you. Love can change you if it's real love. Real love can definitely change people. There are things that can change people, but change doesn't come unless people are having real experiences. Sometimes we have to lose something, or something has to cost us something that we couldn't live without. And losing the thing that we could never deal without is what pushes us into that next phase, Because sometimes, like the butterfly that was a caterpillar that becomes in a cocoon that becomes a butterfly, it's like sometimes you may have stages of life that require you to be something different or somebody different, or just have a newness about you. So, I think that's it for the antelope, and then I'll be right back with this last group. Alright, so for the last group, we have both the frog and the hawk together. I think this is a really interesting pair, because it feels like the hawk could potentially eat the frog. But this is both transition and spirituality. So with the transition, you may actually, maybe if you're somebody who's like trans, either way, from like male to female or female to male, you may resonate with this. And or with transition, if you're somebody near the end of your life and you feel like you may pass away soon, then this may really resonate with you. And or if you've very recently had a loved one that transitioned over to the other side, this may also, if you've graduated from high school, which this is that time of year where a lot of people are about to graduate, this may also apply to you as well. So, but we have a frog, a transition, but we also have the hawk with spirituality. So I'll just read them one at a time. So the frog says, this is a powerful time of change. You're being called to connect with the world of emotions and feminine energies. You may also need to engage a process of cleansing, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, or energetic. You know? So since it says you're being called to engage with feminine energies, you may be somebody uh who was transitioning. So we also have Hawk and spirituality, and it says fly above and beyond your day-to-day thoughts to observe them from a bird's eye view. Quieting the mind and detaching from your thought patterns puts you in a better position to take in messages from your spirit guides. So you have messages from your spirit guides who would like you to meditate. So for your cards, you have 3, which is a really interesting assortment of. This is a really interesting. So first we're going to do the Dragonfly Mermaid. And it says, you've attracted wonderful news. Maybe this is what's got you overthinking too. Maybe you got your news already. And maybe you're just like really stunned. And you're like, oh my gosh, what do I even do about this? And then you also have the Quetzalcoatl and the Princess of Time. And it says, the time has come, the time to act is now. You may identify with the Year of the Snake and or Year of the Dragon. You may also have some Latino, Hispanic heritage, since she has that kind of Aztec vibe about her. We also have card number 4, which is Brother Raccoon, which is talking about a safe place for you to go. So it's like, maybe you're somebody who feels like you need to find. Well, you know what? If you're somebody who is going through a transitional time, like if you're transing, especially with the the state of the world today, you may want to find a safe place to just go and lay low for a little while. So, but I feel like if you're being guided to do that, then I feel like, take some time to go meditate, because you have spirit guides who are going to let you know where to go. Ooh, we also have a journey, and it says branch out to new worlds. So you have a spirit guide and they want you to go somewhere, and they're going to let you know where it is you should go. Oh yeah, and then we have cleanse, which, oh my gosh, dude, it was just talking about cleansing, and here we have a confirmation of cleanse. And it says, wash your weary spirit clean and take a walk in the wooded glades. And then you also have the night. And it says, find comfort in the night where the world switches off and the stars burn bright. Which we'll put that right under this, because this Brother Raccoon is at night. So maybe also, like, I don't know if you recently entered a drawing or a sweepstakes for a free vacation, a free cruise, a free trip somewhere. Somebody may contact you and tell you that you've won a free trip. And I feel like that trip, like, this is like, you have a spirit guide that's like work this out for you so that you can have a chance to get away and go like calm your, so while you're away, where it says like wash your weary spirit clean, I feel like whatever this trip is going to help you to do that. So, and then while you go on this trip, I feel like that nighttime when it's quiet, it's I feel like it's just really going to do great things for you, and you'll feel a lot better. You will feel so much better. I feel like this is really good for you, what's interesting? It's like each one of these I do feel is for a different energy. Like the other night I did pick-up piles, but they felt like they were one continuous narrative that was just like a big bridging story. But this does feel like it's different energy. These are for different people. But these are all different stories of like people who've been through a hard time who are coming to the end of their hard time. So this for this person is like you've been through this situation, and so as you come out of this situation, you know, it's like you're attracting wonderful news. So I feel like the news is going to have to do with this journey, which is just what you need. You know, it's just what you need because, you know, it's like, you know, it's a time of change. When they hear the priestess of time, and then we have the fly above, you know, and it says, because, you know, you're overthinking too much. And so like, these spirit guides are here. So, like, if you're somebody who really identifies with hawk energy, that may really be for you, you know? So they want you to go take a walk in the woods. So maybe you'll go visit some place that has some nice forests and trees and things like that. So maybe you'll go camping. You know what? Especially, like, if you're in the northern hemisphere, you know, it's almost summertime, and it's that time of year where people like to go camping. Um, so maybe you know what we're in mid-April right now. So like you know at the end of May is Memorial Day, and a lot of people go camping on Memorial Day. So if you have the option, if the option comes up for you to go camp, if somebody comes to you and says, "Do you want to go camping on this Memorial Day?" I think you should go. You should definitely go. So maybe even like someone will contact you and be like, you know what you could do? You know what you could do in the meantime to help manifest this into existence? Like, if you go to a local, like, either an REI store or one of these Field and Stream stores or like a Dick's Sporting Goods or any of these kind of places, and like, if they have contests, enter those contests. Because, like, even if you don't want that one, I feel by, like, putting that energy and intention into the universe, because like this stuff wants to come in for you. So I feel by doing that, and or maybe even you could go and like if you have the means to do it, go and buy yourself a new sleeping bag, a flashlight, and a canteen. Possibly a poncho or a raincoat of some kind just in case it rains. I don't know why I got that idea, but we did have the dragonfly mermaid, and because of the mermaid, it's making me think of water. And this card, even though it's a lot of blue in the background, it's like it could be nighttime, but unlike this other pile that had like the dark cards of night, this is like kind of more like a watery. It's like that doesn't exactly look like, I don't know, maybe it is like a night sky, but it's hard to tell if it's a night sky or not. So it's like, you know, maybe get a raincoat just in case, you know. Because if you're going somewhere in the mountains or in a big foresty area where you're going camping, I don't know, you may just want to, can't hurt to be on the safe side, you know. And that's it. That's all I have for you guys today. Unless you guys want me to do like, is this like a bonus at the end that like could be like an atlas oracle for anybody who's still here since I'm under 30 minutes. Oops. Oh, we have divine timing and reconciliation, which is reversed, which is the purple card. This is like one of my favorite cards. Jeez, dudes. And it says, talks about union, merging, and repair, but it's upside down. So, yeah. So it's whatever happened that put you in this energy, I don't think it's going to fix because it's not meant to do that. But you are in divine timing, and everything that's happening right now is happening as it should be. So, I don't know if that's confirmation for anybody or if that may apply to these other two piles as well. Let's see if there's any more of these Atlas oracles that want to come out real quick before I wrap this up. Yep, here's a masculine card at the end. It says, be decisive and take action. That sounds like this antelope one. That sounds like antelope. I feel like this is divine timing. This no reconciliation may be this abundance card. I feel like it kind of goes with that. All right. I feel like that's it. Also at the bottom, there's a balance. So I do feel like balance is coming in. Balance will be restored. Oh, so that's it. Thank you for watching. If you did, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope if you would like a personal reading, you can always reach out to me. I love doing them. I haven't done them as much since I left Final Fantasy, and I do actually miss doing them. It's, you know, I have a gift for it, for I'm really good at reading energy. So, that's it. Thank you for your support.